saving money can improve your life.
There's great freedom in not having a mortgage and not having any bills.
But some people take it to the extreme.
I lived so richly without having to spend a lot of money.
And I'm going to show you how they live. There'll be tips I hope will inspire you.
So we thought, why not try and get past the system that was going to cost us money and, in effect, save us some money.
And some that may just horrify you.
Living in the garage, I was able to save just under £1,000 a month.
Tonight, we'll meet Katrina, who won her son.
I didn't think anything would come of it, and then a few weeks later at work, I got a call saying that you've won.
Tiny home teen Tom.
My house cost around £6,000 in total.
Eric, water saver.
Having a shower with rainwater that is free. I haven't paid for it. That's the biggest excitement.
And Charlotte, who reuses her toilet paper.
We've been able to make some small changes in our household and get a big financial return.
As we meet my extreme savers.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Welcome. Now, I've spent my entire career showing you how to play the system and cut your bills to hopefully get a better lifestyle. But today, something different. I've gathered together a horde of people who, when it comes to saving money, let's just say they go the whole hog. Now, I am not saying you should be doing this too. In some cases, far from it. More, have a watch and maybe be inspired to put your foot down a little on the money-saving accelerator. Meet 31-year-old Katrina the Comper Stevenson from the Isle of Wight. Katrina's won tens of thousands of pounds worth of prizes by entering competitions.
Today, I think it'll probably be a £15,000 to £20,000 worth. If I was to break it all down, probably closer to £20,000 worth.
But there's one prize she's won that's priceless. Her son, Dylan. Yes, Katrina actually won her baby.
My best win, it even sounds crazy saying it, but it is my son. I won free IVF treatment abroad in Norway. I was trying for 9 years. We had 4 losses. We were struggling to save for IVF. So I put all my energy into trying to find if there was any sort of IVF competitions. I was doing it for a good couple of weeks, and then I came across an advert in a magazine. So I entered all my information, emailed it over, and I didn't think anything would come of it. I didn't think I'd hear back. And then a few weeks later at work, I got a call saying that you've won. Can we arrange to fly you out to Norway so we can start sort of your treatment, which was just unreal.
Let's just pause there for a moment. I want you to first understand a bit more about how competitions work.
I first started entering competitions in my lunch break at work, and then I really sort of put a good few hours a week aside just to go through magazines or searching online.
Now, comping isn't just doing the odd competition. It's about systematically spending hours a week, maximising the number you can enter in the minimum amount of time, often via using online forums where people share all of their tips and techniques.
One of my friends runs a really successful competition page on Facebook. So I started following her guides that she did, and everyone else would comment with tips. Magazines, normally they've got a page at the back where you answer all the things that were throughout, and then you post it, or you send text or ring a number. A lot of it's online, emails or social media, on-pack promotions, things like that.
You might have to enter hundreds a week in order to win even one, and do watch out for scams. It can be hard work, but for Katrina, it all started to pay off.
I won a £1,000 John Lewis gift card. That helped me a lot to sort of get out my new place. Then I started winning like holidays, a weekend away in Switzerland and a weekend away in London, and then won a 5-star break for me and my partner in Fuerteventura, which was unreal. So that's when I thought, right, this is like crazy. I may as well just keep doing what I'm doing because it's working. If I needed something or it was something that I knew I'd struggle to get, then I'd purposely go out, search magazines, search online for that specific thing and put energy into it that way.
Wow. But let's get back to the most important competition of all, winning that baby. While the first round of IVF was unsuccessful, Katrina and her then partner were allowed to fly back to Norway for a second time to implant a frozen embryo she had stored there.
It was strange because I sort of just knew. I kept saying, it's worked. I know it's worked. I'm convinced of it. After 9 years, you would get used to looking at tests and thinking, is it? But it was so definite. I let the team know it had worked. Everybody was so emotional, like they were so invested, and it was like such a beautiful experience. It felt like we all made a baby. It was lovely.
Today, Katrina's son Dylan is a strapping 2-year-old.
Dylan is the strongest, cheekiest, but most well-behaved child I've ever met in my life, and I just feel so blessed to have him. First thing in the morning, he just gives me the biggest grin. That's how my day starts. And just saying, Mama, and I'm like, right, my life is amazing.
Oh, now she has the child she always dreamed of, thanks to her lucrative comping hobby.
The meds and the treatment alone was an incredible amount. And then on top of that, it was the travel, flying back out, and our accommodation costs. It's just stuff that I would have never been able to do, but it was just all taken care of for me. And it's just amazing that I can look back. I enjoyed every minute.
Ah, by the way, though, if you're going to go into comping forums, it's not all about taking. If you're going to enter competitions others have posted, the etiquette is that you do some research and post a few for them. It's worth a try, though I can't promise you'll win a baby. Now, meet 21-year-old Tom, tiny house, Leah from Bristol. At just 17, apprentice carpenter Tom quickly realised he'd struggle to get on the housing ladder. The cost of a mortgage or even rent plus bills was just too high. So he came up with a cunning, cost-cutting carpentry concept.
I was on YouTube a lot as a kid, and I saw lots of videos about tiny houses, and I wanted to build one and sort of just jumped in the deep end and went for it. A family friend had a trailer available, so I went and picked that up. Because I was already in the deep end of a carpentry apprenticeship, and I thought I can transfer my skills across. It was quite daunting at the beginning.
Tom had the base for his tiny house. He even had many of the skills needed to build it. The next issue to tackle was where to put it.
Sat my grandparents down and was like, can I potentially build a tiny house in the garden? And then I sort of just sketched it up in a notepad and then sort of went from there.
With a full-time job and limited funds, his tiny house project became a real labour of love.
It took me roughly 3 years, and that was purely because I didn't have the money to do it when I started. And I was on an apprenticeship wage, as you know, would be quite low. And I was just doing bits and bobs to save money as I got paid weekly. So weekly, I'd go to the builder's merch, see what I need next, and sort of go from there. Also, I didn't really have much skills when I started because I was still learning them.
It wasn't just a carpentry lesson, it was a lesson in saving too.
I looked through like eBay and Gumtree and places like that and Facebook Marketplace, and I'd drive around with a roof rack on the top and go around and pick various bits up for £5, £10. The big door I got for about £15, and then £5 for the little window up there. I did have help from my grandpa for the electrics because he used to be an electrician. And my dad helped with the plumbing and sort of taught me along the way. This kitchen here cost me about £200. The worktops are old scaffold planks which were in a skip. The bathroom cost me about £300.
All of that hard work eventually paid off, and then some.
My house cost around £6,000 in total. That was from start to finish. The running costs are under £5 a week to run because I only use a little bit of electricity and water from my grandparents, which I pay back. But the actual cost of running it daily is nothing because it's really basic. There's hardly any hardware that can go wrong.
Tom parks his small residence for free on his grandparents' field in return for maintaining their land, and it allows him to save big for the future.
I'm saving quite a lot of my percentage of my wage a month, which I would have been spending about £600 to £700 on rent. I can put it aside, ready for my future plans and for when I'm ready to make the move to potentially building my own house or doing up and renovating a house. Not many people I know at 21 actually own their own house, and to know that I've got a house and it's all paid for, it's a really incredible feeling.
Wow, financial freedom at just 21 years of age. I love it. Go on, son. And you know, that £6,000 he spent on the house is less than the UK annual average rent. Of course, it doesn't factor in the cost of his labour and the land. But you never know, tiny houses could just catch on.